I'm Director of Engineering for the City of Greenville, and on behalf of the city, I am pleased to welcome you to the ribbon cutting of the Better Utilizing Investments to Leverage Development for Build projects. Today, we commemorate a new milestone in our pursuit of providing safe and accessible multimodal transportation corridors between the Medical District, West Greenville, downtown, and East Carolina University. This marks the substantial completion of 7 projects. 3 projects that reconstructed and provided streetscaping of 5th Street from Cadillac to Reed, to include the installation of 2 roundabouts and 4 greenways and/or bicycle and pedestrian improvement projects. These transformative projects support our efforts to improve safety, economic opportunity, and quality of life for our residents and workers in and around the heart of Greenville. The reality is, this project began back in 2006 with the city's streetscape master plan. It was then the community defined their vision for the look and feel of transportation corridors in and around downtown. From there, we went through multiple iterations of projects, applying for multiple grants that focused on connection and safety, ultimately ending up with what we have today, the build projects. The city was notified of the grant award in November of 2019. This 6-year journey to completion amidst COVID has been a wild ride, full of challenges, opportunities, and rewards. We've built relationships and developed friendships, all in the spirit of furthering the common good. I'm proud of our accomplishments and our commitment to the community we live in, that we work in, we raise our families in, and we celebrate in. I would be remiss if I did not take the opportunity to publicly thank Lynn Rayner, our Capital Project Division Head, and Ted Trianis, our Project Manager. They both worked long hours, remaining dedicated to the successful completion of the build projects, often going above and beyond to facilitate and coordinate efforts between multiple departments, agencies, and businesses. Thank you for all you do for the city. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Monica Daniels to say a few words about the project. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us here today as we celebrate a major milestone for the city of Greenville. That this effort represents more than just new roads, sidewalks, and pathways. It represents connection. Connection between neighborhoods and opportunities. It also represents the city's commitment for safety of our residents and all of our visitors. By improving streets and sidewalks and adding greenways and multi-use paths, we are creating safer, more direct, and more inclusive routes that connect communities such as the one I represent in West Greenville. It represents the Greenville spaces that are connected, that help a city thrive and help all of the residents thrive with it. As you travel down West 5th Street, it is such an impressive sight. The sidewalk and the street improvements have created a safer and more beautiful pathway for people who utilize all modes of transportation. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the special artwork at one of our new roundabouts that recognizes the city's vibrant history on Albemarle Avenue. Today is a celebration, not just of infrastructure, but of what's possible when we invest in people and the place we call home. I would now like to ask District 3 Representative Marion Blackburn to come forward and share this comment.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem Daniels. I am Marion Blackburn, the District 3 City Council Representative, and I'm so happy and so honored to stand here today and celebrate the successful conclusion of this vital project for our city. This build grant is really an example of how we can have smart, forward-thinking infrastructure, and it creates a more sustainable and connected Greenville. Because as we grow, we have a responsibility to ensure that growth supports not just cars and traffic, but people, neighborhoods, and the environment. And I'm going to go a little off script here to say that it has also helped us to create a sense of place, which is also so important for our community. This build grant, and you've probably already seen some of these amazing improvements, these are real lasting improvements that are throughout our community, our center city community. We've got improved sidewalks, we've got multi-use paths and greenway connections, and these provide all of us a safer and healthier way to walk, to bike, to run, to roll, whatever we do, to skateboard, we can do it more safely and away from cars and traffic. This is not just a trend, this is the future. These multi-use alternative ways to get around, these reduce congestion, it lowers emission, and it supports good, improved public health. All of these things combined make for a better quality of life here in Greenville and make it more livable and healthy for everyone. These improvements are a shining example of how sustainability in Greenville is real and it's happening right now. We're growing in a greener, smarter, more inclusive way. So I'd like to thank everyone who's made this possible, and I hope that we will all enjoy this moment of successfully completing an enormous project that, as has been said before, had multiple players and has come together and will benefit us all. And now I would like to introduce our mayor, P.J. Connolly, who's going to make some more remarks.
Hey, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's here today. I kind of want to give you a little bit of a history more about how this all came about and where we started off. I know for several years before I became mayor, we had gone to Washington, D.C. and talked to our delegation about the importance of the Build Grant, and we were unsuccessful. And then the first time that I ran, we made the decision to go up to Washington, D.C., and we went to meet with our delegation, and of course we were not successful. And so I was not very happy about that. And I think the city manager at the time can vouch for that. I know we have Trey Lewis from Senator Tillis's office that is here as well too. And so we were fortunate enough to be able to have the resources and the ability to be able to reach out to Senator Tillis's office. And I will say that we had a very spirited meeting at City Hall with some of our staff and discussing how important this project was for our community and how important it is for us to be able to grow as a community. So we went back up to Washington, D.C. We met with our delegation again, had some really good conversations. We were able to get bipartisan support from our delegation, and we were kind of in the waiting game. And then shortly after, I think it might have been the day after or 2 days after, I got a phone call. I was out running, and I got a call, and I said, "Why is Senator Tillis calling me right now?" And I answered the phone, and he said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, we want to make sure that you won before we gave you this information." Of course, that was a joke. But you guys received the Build Grant, and I was about shocked. I said, "Oh my gosh." So at that point, it was I think 2019, and we received that information. It was outstanding, and then all of a sudden COVID hit in 2020, and everything kind of went on, was stalled, and we didn't get a whole lot done just because of what was happening in our world at that time. And I remember I finally learned this one phrase that our staff came up with. I've never heard this before, but it's called value engineering. Anybody ever heard of value engineering? That's where you significantly find ways to reduce the cost of projects. When we first went up to DC, we were lobbying for a $24 million grant, and when we were awarded the Build Grant, it was $15 million. Of course, we knew that we were going to get some assistance from our state, as well as our federal and our local delegations. And we were able to sit down. We have outstanding staff, Lisa Kirby, Lynn Rayner. You guys did an outstanding job being able to bring this project to fruition and be able to extend it out so that we could get it done. I know it has been a painful thing for us as a community. I know that our businesses have suffered significantly, but it is outstanding. If you have an opportunity to be able to drive down West 5th Street, if you're able to go on the greenway, our multi-use paths, it's outstanding. It's a huge asset to our community. And one of the big things that we have to continue to focus on as we continue to grow as a community to make sure that we have the infrastructure. So I want to say on behalf of my office and City Council, I want to say thank you to everyone that made this possible. This wouldn't have been possible without collaboration at the local, state, and federal level. So I want to say thank you to everyone that's here. I know that you have all played a very important part in that, and without that collaboration, we wouldn't be standing here seeing this project come to fruition. So without further ado, it's my opportunity to be able to introduce our esteemed, wonderful, top-notch City Manager, Michael Cowan.
So I would like to first start by recognizing we have with us Trey Lewis with Senator Tillis's office, as well as State Senator Candy Smith with us here tonight. Both of you were very influential in the process of receiving this grant and this project. If I had to characterize, I will go off script as well. Lisa gave me a script, but I'm going to deviate for a second. If I had to characterize this project, it's a test of perseverance. It really is. I have been with the city for over 10 years, and from day one, this has been a project that I've been working on. Been working on it with 3 separate city managers, Barbara Lipscomb and Ann Wall and myself. Had 3 separate mayors, Alan Thomas, Candy Smith, and then PJ Conley. And about 4 separate trips to DC to work with our delegation and to lobby on behalf of this very comprehensive and transformational project. At the same time, it was able to survive COVID. And we did a lot of value engineering in the process because as a result of the turmoil that was going on at that time, the project basically went from $25 million to approximately $48 million. But we found a way to bring this project to fruition for our community. And then I can't leave this podium without saying it did have a significant impact on our local businesses. And that was felt not only on the streets of Fifth Street, but also at City Hall. And I would like to say that thanks to the likes of our design team, our construction team, and the patience of our merchants that we were able to make it through it. So I'm very proud to stand here today and to be able to recognize the second part of what made this project happen is the many partnerships. Because partnerships are the foundation for success for our community. And I could go on and on and on about the individuals that played a major part in the success of this project, but there are a few different categories that I would like to recognize personally. And as I go through each one of these categories, and I call each name, I'd like for each individual to step up on the stage, receive a gift on behalf of the city, and then wait for everyone's name to be called and we can have a group picture. So we're going to start off with the design team led by Kinley Horn. On that team was Dan Robinson, Everett Loving, Caleb Lohman, Ian Hubertus, Seth Anderson, Gary Stone, and Zach Blair. Our next category is the construction team, which was led by Trader. And I was speaking earlier, and there is probably not a company that's had a major hand on the pulse of this city than the projects that Trader Construction has worked on behalf of the city. That includes the Town Creek Culvert, the Build Project, and even now the Town Common bulkhead replacement. So they have just done an outstanding job. I cannot say enough about the work that they have done on behalf of the citizens of Greenwood. As I call your names, I also ask you to come forward. We have David Stevick, Charles Parrott, Myron Meadows, and John Switzer. Now, this next group holds a very special place in my heart because they are the employees of the city in Greenville. And I will say publicly that we have the best employees in the whole wide world who dedicate their lives to serve this community every single day. And the names that I call out here tonight have done a tremendous job of managing a very difficult project, and they are to be recognized. I will begin with the leader of our engineering department, Lisa Kirby. We have Lynn Rayner. We have Trey Thomas. I don't mess that one up. Rick DeCesar. Russell Rosen. Jordan Anders. And we also have with us tonight from the Federal Highway Administration, Seth Wilcher. I'd like to ask you also to come forward. And finally, the tip of the spear is always our city leadership and city council. City council provides the leadership and the strategic vision that moves the city forward. And this project has crossed over various different administrations, but they have all steadfastly been committed to making sure this project gets completed. So as I call your name, I'd like you to also come forward for your gift and picture. We have myself, Michael Cowell, right there at the very top. Go ahead and get this one out of the way. Ken Graves. Renee Alexander. Mayor P.J. Conley. Mayor Pro Tem Monica Daniels. Councilmember Les Robinson. Councilmember Matt Scully. At-large Councilmember Portia Willis. Councilmember Tanya Foreman. And Councilmember Marion Blackburn. Okay. So we are now ready to cut some ribbon. Every name that I just called, what we want to do is we want to exit the building from the front onto 5th Street, turn to your right and head down to City Hall, and there is a pedestrian crosswalk right there in front of City Hall. That's where we're going to move to start the ribbon cuttings. Individuals other than that, you're welcome to stay here, start dancing, start singing, keep on eating, and enjoy this night. Thank you.